Welcome to our channel Top Reddit Story. Make sure to subscribe our channel and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our hardest to reply your comment. Twins of Reddit, what's your embarrassing story involving your twin partner? My mom is an identical twin. She and her sister were always dressed alike and hated it, so one year for Halloween my grandpa took my mom costume shopping and my grandma took my aunt. When they got home they were so excited to show each other their costumes. But when they came out of their room they were wearing the same thing. Was going down an escalator at a casino. Look across and see my brother. Get the excites and yell, "Hey bro." Start waving for his attention. Was waving to myself in a mirror. My twin did that at our work. He was walking to his car and looked in the window and saw me walking parallel to him and got excited and waved. He first was confused how I was waving at him at the same time. Then realized it was just a reflection. Haha. My twin brother died in a car wreck and my family suggested that I should date his girlfriend because grief. I guess. We all duck in awkward. Mom. That's a ducked up thing to say. Sure is. And isn't even the worst thing that was said. This story is so prime and I'm so excited to tell it. I used to do musicals. Like singing, dancing musicals. My brother came to a performance and was at the greeting line afterwards. He goes up to the lead actress in the show and says, "Great job. Congrats." What a show, to which she responds, "Oh, I wasn't in the show, actually it was my twin sister." "But you were fantastic," to which my twin brother says, "I wasn't in the show either." And that's when the actual lead actress and I walk up wondering why they both look so damn confused. I've been laughing about it for years. Edit. Thanks for the silver. Now I can say I've gotten an award for answering wrongly after misreading a prompt. Haha. Gold. Edit. Whoa, gold. For the occasion I can admit, the lead actress and I were having a secret affair. This is actually my friend's story. She went to see a play at a university with her identical twin. His sister said that there was a shortcut to the theater by cutting through some glass building. My friend didn't think that made sense. But her sister seemed confident about it. So she followed along. Then suddenly her sister opens a classroom door and says, "Let's go in here." My friend goes inside. And freaks out when she sees a bunch of paintings of what looks like herself. Completely naked. It turns out her sister had posed nude for an art class. And thought that would be a fun surprise. I fancied a twin in high school and couldn't realize why in one class she spoke to me yet in another didn't know what the duck I was on about. It took me 4 months and just bumping into them both on the walk home and I literally went, "There's two of you." I've done the same thing. Except I thought there was only one. I asked the wrong one out. Got slapped. Then the other one helped me home because she hit my eye. And I kinda faked not being able to see. Dated her for the past 3 years. I'm too young to propose though. In 2 years I'll be ready. I went to a funeral of a friend's father. I had no idea that the deceased had an identical twin. It felt really strange to see the guy in the coffin sat at the front row of the church. My grandpa has a twin brother. And they look nearly identical even now in their late 70s. My mom told me that when I was a toddler we were at a family reunion. Apparently my grandpa was holding me and talking to my parents and then his twin brother walked up to us and my reaction was to say, stunned and wide-eyed, "Two grandpas." I must have been really happy to have not one, but two amazing grandpas to interact with. Edit. Added missing us. I'm not the twin. But I was dating a guy on and off for years, long distance, and eventually came to find out that the guy I had been on and off dating was ducking his twin brother and his twin brother's wife. I couldn't believe it at first. But then a whole lot of things started to make sense. The more I thought about it, I'd been friends with him a solid 15 years. And in that whole time he never really dated anyone but me. But he spent so much time with his twin brother and even more with his twin brother's wife. We're no longer dating. I'm not a twin. But dated one of two twin brothers in high school. The other twin also had a girlfriend at the school. One day, Someone in my class pulls me aside to nervously tell me he thinks my boyfriend is cheating on me. He was fairly new at the school and didn't know yet there were twins. It gave us all a good laugh when the story got around and the guy was pretty relieved to hear there was no cheating going on. Dad's friend is a twin. Lives in Chicago. His twin brother lives in Boston. On the same day, both twins fell off a ladder and broke the same leg. Not a twin. But I had a pair of teachers at my middle school who were identical twins. They tended to dress similarly and I spent a lot of time confused as to how they could move around the school so quickly until someone told me there were two of them. And that they were twins. This was right before one of them got pregnant though. So I would have figured it out eventually. There was a ducked up story about the twins in my country. Two baby girls were swapped in hospital. And one twin came back home with other family. Their daughter stayed with her twin sister. Girls were completely different. But the family thought they are just not identical twins. They found out the truth when all three girls were in high schools. The real twins were constantly called differently and strangers would approach them and say hi. They lived in a relatively small town. So finally some common friends organized their meeting. Although they look identical, they are completely different people. Egg. One of them likes metal music and wears black clothes. The story didn't end up well. Although they sued the hospital. Both families are devastated by the whole story. I tried to date this girl from class and we were going out on dates and everything, but out of nowhere she stopped talking to me because her friends saw me with another girl, my twin sister, at the movies and thought I was playing her, but they didn't know I have a twin sister. What happened afterwards? Did things end there? Well, I explained that she is my twin and showed her pictures of us growing up and she met her in person, but she said she just couldn't trust me anymore, so yeah, things ended like a month later. Saw my identical male twin naked in high school. His wiener is much larger than mine. No homo, but we even compared them once and his was definitely larger. Any other twins have this problem? My pen 15 is much bigger than my identical twin sister's. Even though she's a few years older than me. My identical twin brother, my wife, and myself all went to school together and got jobs at the same place after passing boards. Since there are some rules regarding family working together, I was not hired to the same unit as my wife. But my twin was. It was a lot of fun. Taking lunches together. etc. But there was one social worker who just couldn't grasp that my brother and wife were not the married ones. She'd compliment me on how cute they were together. Comment on social media how great a couple they were. Even talk about how much my kids take after their dad, referring to him. It's all benign and we laugh about it. But she really laid it on thick. My grandma and her sister were twins. Her sister was going to be a nun, so couldn't be involved in any affairs. Some guy asked the sister out, who sent my grandma in her place. Tasked with ending the date poorly. I'd like to say there's a funny ending that the guy is my granddad. But he's not. He's just some random dude. My husband has an identical twin. When my husband and I got engagement photos done, Facebook automatically tagged my husband's brother in a bunch of our photos. And I posted them without realizing. My twin brother went out to pick up some wine and his girlfriend, at the time, came over and thought I was him. She was probably really horny, but without hesitating she began to kiss me and it took me by surprise. To the point where I was frozen in shock. I was about to get her off me. But that was when he walked in. I was with my twin brother at the supermarket this one time. And judging from this story I'm guessing that obviously we look the same from the back. But not exactly the front because I'm a female. My brother's girlfriend was shopping at the same store as us that day and comes up behind me and smacks my bottom saying hey love. Jokingly I turn around and say it back. The look on her face made me regret what I did. I'm not a twin. But I knew some in HS. There were these two identical girls who were your kind of typical slutty experimental girls. And they revealed to me they would practice making out on each other. Additionally they shared a boyfriend at some point without telling him they were two separate people. But when he found out, He was real upset because if they were lying about that, then what else was going on behind his back? My little brother and sister are twins and both of them have multiple flat spots on their heads, not noticeable through their hair. This is because before they were born they would headbutt each other inside of my mother. The doctor said a lot of the kicking she felt were actually headbutts. I've told this story before but it's even more fitting here. My identical twin sister was dating the president of a fraternity on campus. And during one of the frat's date night events she went with her BF and I was set up as a date for one of his brothers. Towards the end of the night I got separated from my date. And my sister's extremely drunk boyfriend put his arm around me while sis was in the bathroom. BF leaned in to kiss me. Venue was super dark so I think it was an honest mistake. So I backed up to set the record straight. He asked if I was down for a threesome with my own twin sister. I still feel bad for ditching my date but shudders I had to get out of there ASAP. When I was a baby my dad was supposed to take my brother to a doctor's office because he was sick and he took me instead. My dad realized that it was me and got my brother to the doctor's. Turns out he just had a cough. Basically all of these stories are about identical twins. I'm a guy who has a twin sister and we don't look anything alike. I'm a dead ringer for the guys in my mom's family and both my twin and little sister fave my dad's family. On top of the obvious low effort lollyducker twin bullshit, it really has only been a positive for me. I'm pretty awkward and having someone to always talk to and someone around to give me an excuse to start talking to girls etc was always a big plus. We made our own language when we were little and have so many memories. I dated an identical twin back in high school. Her sister had recently broken up with her boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend and his mom were walking through the park and saw my girlfriend and I kissing. Without the slightest display of emotion. She turns to her son and says, so that's why she left you? Not a twin. Dated a twin on and off for a while. In middle school, I would get a call from my boyfriend. We chat for a bit and then he'd have to go so his brother could have his phone time. These were the days before cell phones. Then we'd hang up and I'd get another phone call a minute later. From my boyfriend. Turns out the first call was from his twin brother. Boyfriend would get pissed. He tried that a few more times. Then I learned to tell their voices apart. Edit. Thanks for my first silver. I feel like this should say identical twins. There's not much fraternal twin partner shenanigans. Fraternal twins are twins too. I used to volunteer at an after-school program where there was a pair of young, kindergarten first grade, fraternal twins who looked really similar, but had completely opposite personalities. Somehow the adults never figured out how to tell them apart on site. Even though there was a really strong incentive to do so since one was a total sweetheart and the other would literally bite you. One of my good friends in college, we'll call her Ellie, has a twin sister, we'll call her sister. Sister had a boyfriend while Ellie was blissfully single. We were all over at sister's place making dinner together and having some beers. Ellie went to grab something out of the fridge. So her back was to the room. Sister's boyfriend walked by, gave her a casual but firm grab and went on his way to the counter to IDK. Chop something. Ellie gasped and turned around. The room stopped. We all just stared and waited for boyfriend to notice he'd grabbed the wrong twin. You could see the exact moment he realized sister, his girlfriend, was not. In fact, at the refrigerator. She was on the other side of the room. He slowly looked back down at the cutting board. He couldn't even process the shame. He apologized profusely. Ellie was horrified for a second, but after she realized it was an honest mistake, she thought it was funny. He literally could not make eye contact with her for a week. Edit. Spelling. My girlfriend told me about a production of 12th Night that was able cast identical twins for the main role. At one point one of them walked off one side of the stage and the other walked on from the opposite side in a different costume seconds later. Most of the audience just thought they were doing really fast quick changes. In the version they used for the DVD, a guy in the audience near the camera very loudly said "what the duck" when this happened. Not a twin, but my older brother looks like a fatter version of me, or I'll look like a skinny version of him. Let's call him George and I'll be Biarge. The first time we went to visit our father in our old town after our parents' divorce in like 3 years. So we were meeting a lot of people we hadn't for a long time. A lot of people mistook me for him. But the most interesting one was our grandmother. Upon seeing me for the first time, he was outside. Gozo. George. Look at how much you've grown. And you've lost weight. I'm Biarge. Oh. I got pranked by my girlfriend. An identical twin. A few months ago. There is no point where a guy is more vulnerable than immediately after orgasm. Everything has just rained. Knowing this, my girlfriend awaited this moment one morning. Immediately after I finished, she looked up at me, took a deep sigh, and said don't tell her name while mimicking her sister's mannerisms. I freaked the duck out, pulled my receding member out, and flipped out of the bed in what I can only describe as an emotional cluster duck. It was only as I came to my senses that I noticed my girlfriend giggling helplessly. It was then that I knew that I am dating the evil twin. Not embarrassing, but my geography teacher has a twin brother, and when he left a few people without a grade, meaning they had to take summer exams. A few of the kids gathered and broke his twin brother's nose and gave him a black eye. They were pretty surprised to see him the next day without a scratch. Slightly off topic. I knew some identical twins who were both in the trades. One a plumber and the other an electrician. Once in a while they'd end up on the same job site. They would steal each other's work shirts. Wait for a foreman to tell one of them to complete a task. What life hacks have you tried that actually worked? Swelling the liquid in a bottle you need to empty fast. Creates a vortex that lets the air in and the liquid out without all that messy glug glug noise. Learned this from Bill Nye. Best minor convenience by far. I learned the other day that when trying to touch your toes, you should focus on touching your head to the ground rather than fingers to toes. It added a few inches of stretch with no other effort. Congratulations. You just caused several thousand people to get up from wherever they were sitting and bend over to touch their toes. It does kinda work though. There was a post not too terribly long ago where a OP said something about the extra linen in the front of male underwear boxes being used to absorb the drops of piss after you pee. A comment under that explained that if you actually put pressure on your taint, just press on it, it will squeeze out any extra piss. I am 32. And I feel like I just learned how to pee properly as a male. A leftover dryer sheet is great at cleaning off soap scum in the tub. I like to wipe off my mirror with dryer sheets so it doesn't get so foggy after I shower. I also like to put them in my shoes to keep them smelling nice. The quickest way to cool the inside of your car down is to open one door. Then go to the opposite side and open and close it a few times. This forces the hot air out and draws the cooler air in. I have a black car with black interior. And a few weeks ago when the high was 94 and it had been sitting in the sun for 6-7 hours, I tried this before getting in. And holy hell, it worked better than I could have ever imagined. I had heard about this before but never tried it. At the start of the year I'll flip all my clothes hangers around so they're facing the wrong direction. As I wear random items, I'll flip it back to the normal direction. If by the next year I haven't worn something, I know I never will. And so I donate anything that's still flipped backwards. Kitchen plastic wrap in the freezer. No more sticking. To add on, put plastic wrap over the top of your ice cream and then put the lid on the carton. No more freezer burned ice cream. Untying a knot in a plastic bag by twisting it tightly so that the part of the bag past the knot is made into a tight rope-like structure that can be pushed back through the knot. Untying it. I've used this a lot. I use a binder clip to hold my grocery list to the kids' seat on the shopping cart. It keeps the list in a readable position and both my hands are free. Also, between 7 and 10 binder clips will hold a toddler in a shopping cart without a baby seat. Fry leftover pizza in a pan with a lid on it, crust down. The crust goes amazingly crisp. The toppings eat up and you don't have soggy disappointment. It is arguably better than fresh pizza in my opinion. Clear packing tape over the speakers of plastic children's toys. It muddles the sounds enough that I still have some of my hearing. I'll share the ones I use. Both, coincidentally, involving a damp paper towel. Before reheating bread in the microwave, wrap it in a damp paper towel. It won't be chewy at all and is actually quite delicious. It's not as good as a toaster oven, but it works great in a pinch. If you want to quickly cool a beverage without adding ice, that is, beer. Wrap a damp paper towel around the bottle and stick it in the freezer for a few minutes. The paper towel will freeze quickly and chill the beverage quicker. I tested this with a wrapped beer and an unwrapped beer, and the wrapped was cold and delicious while the unwrapped had barely gotten any colder. For the ladies, if your mascara is drying up, put a few drops of saline solution in the tube. It'll last a lot longer. Sugar cures a burnt tongue. For mosquito bites, run a spoon under hot water for about 30 seconds. Then press the spoon to the bite. No more itching. Pour pancake mix into an old ketchup bottle for no mess pancakes. If you frequenters do, notice the color the employees wear and match it next time you go. The animals will come right up to you. My son and I ride our bikes to fireworks displays, sports events, outdoor movies and park events. When the events are over, we ride past massive traffic jams and get home in 10 minutes while everyone else is stuck in traffic for an hour. If the event is far away from home, load up our bikes and we drive to location a few miles from the event and ride in. Then ride back out. We make sure to be extremely careful. We don't trust anybody. We feel like geniuses when we do this. Dress for the job you want. At my first real office, cubicle, job, they would sometimes send me, the new guy, back to work in the warehouse for a few hours. I started wearing better clothes. Preferably light colored ones, mostly purchased at Goodwill. For the next week, when they sent me back, I'd return with my clothes pretty much ruined. I didn't say a word. Just got back to work. After a week, they quit sending me. After a few months, I got a good performance review and a private office. I still try to dress just a bit better than the people around me. But I don't have to shop at Goodwill anymore. I enjoy having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me. And since I don't have a butler, I have to do it myself. So, most nights before I go to bed, I will lay 6 strips of bacon out on my George Foreman grill. Then I go to sleep. When I wake up, I plug in the grill. I go back to sleep again. Then I wake up to the smell of crackling bacon. It is delicious. It's good for me. It's a perfect way to start the day. First thing in the morning when you wake up, drink a big glass of water, leave it on your nightstand. Walk outside and get like a minute of fresh air while looking at the sky. Obviously depending on weather. 100% works better for quickly waking you up and consistently as opposed to groggily chugging down coffee. Seriously. Give it a try. I sell my labor so that I can then exchange that currency for goods and services. Blinking fast for a minute to help fall asleep at night. Read it in another post. Tried it out one night when I couldn't sleep. And I was fast asleep within 3 minutes, guessing because I fell asleep quickly. Another one I heard and have used on many occasions when I haven't been able to fall asleep at my usual fast pace. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds, then breathe out through your mouth for 8 seconds. Won't take many times of doing this before you are out. About the only one I use all the time is the roll the bottom of the chip bag to make the bag of chips bowl-like. I'll do this if it's just the bros and close friends hanging out. We'll get fancy and use a bowl if we have real company though. I don't know if it was ever on Life Hacks, but also once you're halfway through a bag of chips I cut the top half of the bag off with scissors so I don't have to reach deep into the bag. Wetting a latex glove, or rubber glove, and wiping down upholstery to get pet hair off. My husband is a dentist and we have a box of medical gloves at home. I use one of those, running my hand first back and forth, then in circles, over our upholstered furniture. We have 3 cats, and it works so much better than vacuuming. Use a couple of coffee filters to clean a mirror if you don't want streaks. Paper towels first to get most of the cleaner off. Then go back over it with coffee filters before it dries. Fold toilet paper in half and put it on the drop zone when you poop. No more Poseidon's kiss. Gonna start using this in public restrooms. At home, Poseidon's kiss is a welcome and pleasant surprise. If you do cream and or sugar in coffee, put the cream and or sugar in your mug first and then pour the coffee. You lose fewer spoons in a week. Another alternative is to get an airtight travel mug. I have a Contigo, and turn it upside down. Suck your finger and pull it out after applying lipstick to make sure none goes on your teeth. Also a good way to attract a mate. When leaving on a trip, to be certain I turned off the stove or locked the doors. Clap or do some other out of the ordinary act once you've completed your task. When you look back to remember if you did it, that little act will stand out and not get lost in the blur of events. If you live with a woman and don't want to clean bath after yourself, just take some of her hair from hairbrush and throw around. She will clean everything and won't even mention it. Tying knots in the bottom corners of your sheet and then tucking them up under your fitted sheet works like eye charm. As a chronic sheet puller, I not long pull sheets. My wife is glad I'm no longer a sheet puller either. Sheets stay stuck under, and I no longer wake up wrapped in sheets. When you're moving, take a big trash bag and put the clothes you have on hangers in the trash bag without taking them down first. Then tie the trash bag around the hanger hooks. Now you have 10-20 articles of clothing still on their hangers but bagged up ready to move to your new clothing rack in your new house. Once you've moved, you can just take your bags of clothes, hang them back up, remove the trash bag, and voila, no more hanging, folding, packing, unfolding, and hanging back up. Plus, wrinkle free. Spray strawberries with vinegar when you get them. Then rinse with water. Hills mold spores. Flick your tomato flowers to make sure they fruit. Draw little lines on your thumb when you need to make even stitches. Peel a banana from the end that's opposite the stem. Most people seem to try to snap the stem end off and peel it that way, but they often smush their banana. If you pinch the non-stem end and peel it that way, you don't mush your banana and you also remove that brown gross bit at the end of the banana. I hear that apes peel bananas this way, but that might be a myth. Regardless, it works. Chew gum while cutting onions. I don't really know how that works, but I use this life hack every time. I saw this video in FB and YouTube about basic home DIY to make things easier. There was one about solving issues of clothes sliding off hangers, so to remedy that, using a glue gun, put bumps or a liner of hot glue on the hanger to gain traction and grip. It worked for a few clothes, so I went to Michael's, bought felt fabric and superglued small sections of it to my hangers. Now my hangers have good grip on my clothes, those that are chiffon. Also, the whole vinegar plus baking soda for cleaning really works. We have a mushroom problem in our backyard. I don't want to use chemicals because of the baby and dogs. Someone said 4 parts water to 1 part vinegar and mushrooms clear out and won't grow back. Well, it works. My other life hack is pretty simple. Drink water and breathe. Right as you wake up, drink a glass of water. Hydrates, refreshes, and to me is more effective than a cup of coffee. Also, work on your breathing. Stressed? Breathe. Tired? Breathe. It works for everything. For anyone that uses glass pipes and water pipes to smoke tobacco, to clean out residue, fill the pipe with rubbing alcohol and coarse salt. Salt does not dissolve in alcohol, so it acts as a scrubbing material. Use your fingers to cover the holes and shake away. No one I know believes me, but I swear this works. If you're trying to unlock your car with a key fob, and you're out of range, Put the fob up to your chin bone and try hitting the button again. Something about reverberating the signal through your skull amplifies the range or something. It sounds ridiculous, but I found it to work nearly 100% of the time. I found myself mashing my lock button from too far away. I came up with this one myself, with mixed opinions. I personally love it and think it's genius. Other people have literally walked out of the pub after hearing this. I eat popcorn with a spoon. Yes, I do. I don't want sticky fingers. Do you know how disgusting your hands are? I'm hyper aware of this. As a waitress, I don't want my food to touch my fingers. Popcorn with a spoon. Chugging a bottle of water right when I wake up to help combat being dehydrated from a good night's sleep instantly makes me feel less groggy and ready to take on the day. I saw this video on Facebook where they had saved vegetable peelings and ends that are edible but not appetizing. You take the bits and toss them in a bit of water with seasonings and make veggie stock. I do this all the time now and I always have the best veggie stock. For anyone wearing tights, wear a pair of panties, on top of tights to stop them from sliding down and being super uncomfortable. In winter, or wherever it's cold. Tights under trousers is such a lifesaver. Newspaper stuffed into wet shoes to dry them out. Added, to rapidly cool something. Loads of salt plus water plus ice and then put the canned bottles in and leave for a few minutes.